You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
Good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing good. How's this week been for you?
Been pretty good.
Good.
How about you?
It has been good. The week went by really, really fast. I got to sleep in yesterday, which is good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So,
Before we get started, Happy Easter
happy Easter.
to all of our to all of our believing listeners. Happy Easter.
To all of our listeners, happy Easter.
To all of our listeners, Happy Easter.
I'm not
Happy
going to
Easter.
discriminate.
Well, I'm not discriminating either. What I'm saying is Happy Easter to all of our believing listeners and to all of our non-believing listeners. Good thoughts and well wishes for you this week.
Yes. But in the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about some stuff. And before we started this show, not today, but, back in the fall, I thought, anything is possible. There could be life on other planets.
Sure.
After some of the research that I've done this past week, there is no doubt in my mind that there is not life on other planets and that we have been visited here.
Absolutely.
I've always been hoping that it was true, but I think it is true.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's very, very true.
I think it's true. Just looking at it from the sheer space in the universe,
Right.
and how many planets are there, how many solar systems. I mean, it's laughable to think that we're the only planet that became the head life.
Right. And I totally agree with you. There'll be a segment coming up. I don't know if it will be next week or the week after, but we will be talking about some locations. We will be talking about some stories from Area 51. We will be talking about some stories from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is not that far from us. And these will blow your mind. We'll also be talking about some presidents over the last 30 years, people that have been presidents who have more than saw UFOs, if that makes sense to you.
So when you say more than saw, you mean like
It could be anything.
like visited and talked with and
Could be.
abducted?
I don't want to give anything away, but I recently discovered a site, and it is a credible site, and I will name the site when we do these segments on the show. And it is just, some of this information is mind-blowing,
well,
And I'm going to say this right now. If the government's telling us, no, there's no such thing as life on other planets, no, there's no such thing as aliens, no, nothing crashed at Roswell, why are they spending money to do certain things? And I can't say much more than that. But if they're spending our tax dollars, or they take certain actions or do certain things in certain situations, they're lying to us 110%.
absolutely, I agree. And you know what? Now you've got my interest peaked.
Good.
So why don't
good.
we just do this? Why don't we just do that show now?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's worth a shot.
We will have to wait for that. We can start out with some listener email. Do you want to?
Well, before we get started,
Cronkite wants to say something.
yeah, I want
Cronkite, go ahead, please.
I want to wish a very happy Easter and a happy birthday to one of my good, close, personal friends, Barry. Hope you're listening, pal, and happy birthday.
And Barry, happy birthday, happy Easter. Barry has wrote in before. He's commented on our question of the week.
Yes,
Have a great day, Barry.
absolutely. Have a great week, Barry.
Why don't you sing a happy Easter song to Barry?
I don't know any happy Easter songs.
Just make something up off the top of your head.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
What about some listener emails?
Okay, let's just go ahead and dive right in to some listener emails. Cronkite has his hand on his sack, his mail sack.
Sorry,
Start out with some emails.
you throw me off. I
What
swear.
did you think I was talking about?
Well, I'm not sure. Trish from West Virginia says, "Hey guys, this may have been asked before. If so, I apologize and disregard my email. Have you ever went ghost hunting? Any experiences or stories that you care to share?" We have not been ghost hunting as a
team
yet. No, but personally, yes, I've been ghost hunting.
Yes, I have too.
And that may be something that we do later on.
Yeah. Did you find anything when you went ghost hunting? Did you experience anything?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, the orbs,
Yeah.
I guess, but
This was maybe in '08. I was at the St. Augustine Lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida. And, it was after they closed, and it was during the night, and some family was there.
why
And,
don't you just rub it in? My name's Goose. I travel.
well, I mean, but anyway, my name's Goose. I travel.
I travel.
And so, there was a bunch of people there for like this midnight ghost hunt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you had search of the grounds. You could go up in the lighthouse. You could do whatever. Before we got started, they told us these stories. And they told us one story that took place inside the house. They said that in the past, in the dining room part, that some of the people over the years would clean and they would put all the chairs under the table, and they would come back and one of the chairs would be sitting on the table.
On top of the table?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, they hand out these little EMF meters. And so we all go on our merry way, exploring, doing all this. And so I'm in the house and nobody's in there. But there's this crowd, this other family behind me in a different room. So, yes, I'm an asshole. I took one of the chairs and I set it up on the table, and I left the room and went to a different part of the room. So when this little kid comes in there, he's like, oh, and everybody starts taking pictures, And
Yeah.
back in those days, you couldn't take them on your phone. You had the digital cameras.
Right.
And
In 1972.
2008, we had the SD cards.
Yeah.
So everybody starts taking pictures, and then more people start coming in, and everybody's taking pictures. Well, there was one person in my family that had looked at me that was taking pictures also, and then when I came back in, everybody was, and my family was smiling and, enjoying it and taking pictures, and they looked at me, and they instantly knew exactly
that you had done that.
that I had done that. So that's my only experience. I mean, I didn't really have any experiences because I've said before, there's nothing wrong with ghost hunting. I've never really been into it. I don't care to do it. Mm-hmm. I think that there are things like that I have saw before. I don't think they can physically hurt you.
Fair enough.
So Larry from Kentucky says,
Hey, Larry.
Goose, Cronkite, Ned, and Elliot. Great job on last week's show. I really enjoyed it. I love the Ned said and agree that it would suck to be a vampire and not be able to eat garlic bread.
God, yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Garlic bread is the one.
That would definitely suck.
Dan from Missouri says,
Hello, Dan.
have you or anyone in your audience ever spoken to a real, true time traveler, Roswell?
Not that I know of. We've had some people that's wrote in. They've never really told us any futuristic events. If you are a time traveler, please contact us. We'll tell you in just a few minutes how you can do that.
Absolutely.
Jackie from Virginia says, hey guys, I'm a new fan of the show and recently discovered it by word of mouth from a coworker. Anyway, I drove cross country from East Coast to West Coast a little over a week ago. I listened to Here to Chew Bubblegum the entire way.
Oh, wow.
When it first started, why was the show on Wednesday and short? Also, what happened to newsman Nate Roswell? Well, Jackie, thank you very much for listening and for your email. It started on Wednesday because the first week that we ever did a show, in order to get it on specific platforms that you could listen to and download, like Anchor and Spotify and iTunes and iHeartRadio, you had to have it up a couple of days in advance. Mm-hmm. So I just did the midweek show just as honest, and I've said this before on the show, deadpit.com used to do a midweek show called the Midweek Obliviration. And so I just copied the midweek moment.
Right.
And just basically told what we were going to do on the show. I did that because it would be out on platforms by the time I recorded the show on Sunday. Newsman Nate is a friend of mine. I've not talked to him in quite a while. I'm not going to tell his real name. His real name is not Nate. He had some family that was ill that he had to take care of, so that's why he never joined the show. But, maybe since Cronkite don't do the news, maybe, if Newsman Nate wants to contribute some way, maybe we will have him do that.
Definitely.
What's your next email?
So Samantha from North Carolina says, I just walked to a shop behind my house. I saw a bright, steady white light at least 5 times the mass of Sirius. I thought it might be a new planet, but in view. But I got back to my house, looked it up, and it was gone. Just wanted to share my recent sighting with you. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you very much. Now, this one is a long one, so you can't say, you give me all the long ones. Liz from Texas writes, Cronkite, I was re-listening to a previous show. I can't remember what the episode number was, but you mentioned the lost city of Atlantis. I've done some research and wanted to share this with you. Okay, here's the part she wants to share with you.
Okay.
Mankind's knowledge of Atlantis was written by Plato. Plato got the knowledge from an Egyptian priest circa 600 BC. The priest took Plato to a room where there were statues of every ruler of Egypt dating back 9,000 years. Thanks for taking time to read my email, Roswell.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Did you know that?
Well, I knew.
Now you do.
Well, I did know that Plato was where we learned about Atlantis.
Yes.
Or Atlantis from.
Yes.
I almost said Atlanta.
Atlanta.
But, Atlantis is a fascinating story. But, again, it's probably just a flooded city somewhere. You know what I mean? Nobody knows where it's at.
Right.
Bill from Kentucky says, "Hey, Goose and
Hello,
Cronkite,
Bill.
what you ever been to Point Pleasant, West Virginia? Have you ever
been?
Have you ever been to Point Pleasant? Thank you. If so, what did you think about the little town? Do you believe that the Mothman is real, Roswell?" I've been through Point Pleasant.
I have been there myself.
For work. I've never been there to stop and gander about. Or
I have been there to stop and gander. My name is Goose, and I travel.
You do travel.
That was years and years ago. It's a nice little town. Do I believe the Mothman's real? I have no idea. It could be.
Very much could be.
So, Andrew from Kentucky says, "Hello everyone at Here to Chew Bubblegum. I really enjoy the show, and I'm loving the WXLR shows. I only wish they were longer. Have you ever thought about doing a show on lost civilizations? I've researched a few, and it's a fascinating subject. Love the truth is out there in last week's episode." Thank you very much, Andrew.
Yeah.
And we will have our WXLR show tonight at 10 p.m. on 104.9. And we may have some news in the next couple of weeks about another station that may be airing Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
That will be very exciting.
Just going worldwide.
Yes, yes.
Jay from Indiana says, "Hello, Goose, Cronkite, Ned, and Elliot. First, let me say that I love the show and think all of you guys are ear candy. Pretty Boy was a great addition on last week's show. Will he be a regular? The Wednesday show is always good, but had me laughing so hard this week. Cronkite's facial expressions are hilarious. What would your top 5 items be if you were dropped off on a desert island? Also, has Cronkite ever thought about trying to be on Naked and Afraid?" I will go ahead and answer that one first. I have not.
I think you would do good on Naked and Afraid.
I wouldn't. I'd be naked and afraid.
Afraid?
The whole time.
Okay.
The whole time. just curled up in a ball.
Why's your face turning red?
Because I don't want to be naked. We're afraid.
That is a very good email, though. Thank you very much, Jay. For
Absolutely, Jay. Thank you so much. I mean, if I were to be dropped off on a desert island, I would probably take water.
Water's one.
Food. Not only food, but I would take camping gear.
Okay.
And a grill.
Okay.
And maybe some sort of water purification.
Okay. Now that
filter.
Now that's it. That's your top 5. All right. So how are you going to start a fire for your grill?
There's going to be a propane tank.
Oh, you did not say that. You just said grill, so I assume charcoal grill.
No, grill has.
You're not Hank Hill, man. You can't take a propane tank.
Grills have propane tanks attached.
Okay, I would take a tent.
Camping gear.
I'm just going to say, okay, camping gear.
So wait a second, the matches could be in the camping gear.
Okay, I'm just going to say camping gear. I would take a shovel.
Okay.
A canteen.
Okay.
A fire starter.
Okay.
Not a lighter, but one of those, the flint things.
That's camping gear.
Okay. Well, I'm going to count that as number 4. And for number 5, I would take bug spray.
Think so?
Yeah.
You just jump in the water.
Well, you're still, or maybe if I couldn't take bug spray, I would take fishing gear.
Ah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm rubbing my nose there.
Oh, that's no problem. You got any more? Or are you out?
Nope, I think
So
that was my
your
last one.
sack is empty.
My mail sack is empty. Yes.
I've got one more, and I guess you pronounce this Rye, R-Y-E. Would that be Rye?
That sounds right.
Rye from Georgia says, I agree with the person that said politics and UFOs go hand in hand. I mean, think about it. There's been a lot uncovered since Roswell. The government has been and is continuing to lie to us. The truth is out there, and your show helps peel away those layers and layers of lies. Keep it up, and Roswell, my friends. Thank you very much, Rye from Georgia.
Definitely, but kind of let me clarify there. I mean, yes, of course, UFOs and the government go hand in hand. We say that every week.
Correct.
That the government's trying to hide stuff from us. However, what I mean by when I say UFOs and the government are nothing. This is not a place to come and talk about the election. This is not a place to come and talk
No.
about your local law makers. This is
Right. This is our time.
this is UFO
That we give
and
to the
paranormal.
fans.
Yes, UFOs and paranormal only, please.
Sounds good to me. So, earlier in the week, and I didn't tell you I was going to mention this. I just wanted to catch you off guard. I heard that you had a short hospital stay because you was in the cookie factory, and for some reason the stall got locked. You tried to climb over the stall and fell into another stall
Head first.
when a guy was in there doing his business, and you hit your head.
I did.
And they said you had a head injury.
I did.
And now your head's fine, completely normal?
I mean, I wouldn't say completely normal.
But you've never been completely normal.
The
Just the look of you, me just pictured in my mind you trying to climb over a stall
well, I did it.
is hilarious.
I think I did it. I can't remember if I did it
You
or not.
fell into the other stall, so
So
you
I'm-
really wouldn't classify that as you did it.
I didn't stick the landing, but I did climb the stall.
Well,
Yeah. See?
you didn't carry me telling that story on you, did you?
No, I mean, I would much rather have taken it to the grave, but
We have to be honest with our fans.
that's true. That's true. Now, did you let them know who the other person in the stall was?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Do you want to share that?
No,
You sure?
it was Ned.
And Ned's not here today.
No, Ned had an injury from that as well.
Yes, he did. Ned is down. Ned is brown. What else can you say about that?
There's not much to say about that, Ned. I'm so sorry.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment, and we're going to talk about a recent TikTok time traveler.
Oh.
We're also going to talk about black helicopters
Fantastic. That's my favorite color helicopter.
and Stephen King. You know what he did?
Yes, he was a writer.
Yes, he is a writer, and one man claims that he is the one that shot and killed John Lennon.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's cool. I
So,
guess.
well, if you're John Lennon, that's not cool.
No.
Oh my God, man, you're so insensitive.
No, I'm trying to think like, what if it was Yoko Ono?
Well, no, evidently it was Stephen King, and the government was involved.
My mind's blown already. I can't wait to hear it. But before we take a short break,
Yes.
though, if you want to call, text, or leave a voicemail to us, you can always do that at 606-373-3396. Email always works, of course. Goose at heretochewbubblegum.com or Cronkite, that's me, at heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also reach the other two guys on our show, Ned and Elliot, at reach them at heretochewbubblegum at yahoo.com. Put in the subject line, attention Ned or Elliot. You can also get our Facebook page.
Yes.
YouTube,
Twitter,
Twitter.
Instagram, and you're going to start us a TikTok page, correct?
I am, yes. And, until we can kind of get our niche on there as far as like what, maybe that's something we do like in the field. We use our TikTok for the field. But until that, maybe the listeners would like to see some behind the scenes stuff. Maybe it's us preparing for the show. Maybe that's what we kind of fulfill with the TikTok.
That sounds good to me.
And then, of course, Goose has so graciously volunteered to any TikTok dances that come up and are popular. He is going to attempt them.
I'm up for that.
Good deal.
I am up for that. We'll be back in just a moment.
Today I feel so down. You told me to go away. Miles and miles keep dragging me down. No one knows better than me. Someone told me to find myself. You can't take that away. And I'll find somewhere to be alone, and no one knows where I'll be. And you told me too many times before that you won't be here for me.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
Hello, everyone. I'm Goose.
I'm Cronkite.
Be sure to join us every Sunday at 10 p.m.
What are we joining them for?
for our show here to Chew Bubblegum.
That's
on
exciting.
104.9 WXLR.
That's tough. I like it.
You like it?
I like it. 104.9 WXLR, one of my favorites.
Ear candy to the extreme on Here to Chew Bubblegum. Sunday nights, 10 p.m. on this station.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose and Cronkite.
I turned away when you needed me. I thought the fire would burn forever, you see. I made mistakes, but you've always pulled me through. You stood by me, that's why I'm standing by you.
And welcome back here to Chew Bubblegum on an Easter Sunday. I'm Cronkite. That man sitting across from me always is Goose. Goose,
Happy Easter!
how we doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Doing great.
How's things been going?
Things have been going good.
Well, good. How's the cookie factory?
Cookie Factory's been busy.
Very good. Very
So,
good.
Do you have a personal TikTok?
I do, yes, but I
Okay,
haven't put
okay.
anything on.
I don't have a TikTok.
I do. Yes, I have TikTok.
TikTok is, for those people who live under a rock or don't know, TikTok is a site where you can go on and people's got all kinds of stuff. Comedy stuff, new stuff, dancing. You just post little short video clips.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
It's kind of like Vine used to be back,
Years and years ago.
a few years ago.
In 1981.
No, it was more like 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But I wouldn't expect you to know that because that was us young whippersnappers and
Okay.
our newfangled
Yeah,
technologies.
just go ahead and call me Boomer. That's fine, man.
Okay, boomer.
Anyway, a TikTok user has captured the internet's imagination.
Ooh.
Javier from Spain posted a series of clips of empty shopping centers, deserted beaches, and quiet roads, claiming he had woken up in 2027 to find the world deserted. Javier told viewers no humans are around, but buildings, cars, and utilities remain in their place and unused. After his initial post, he has regularly shared videos with his 1.2 million followers. Each clip is completely void of human activity, with no other souls seen around. However, necessities like electricity and internet connection seem to still be available because the time traveler is able to use those and upload the videos. Javier stated, "I keep trying to find human life. I'm starting to lose hope." The city scenes Javier depicts make his videos look remarkable. Aside from the lack of people, clothing stores are filled with neatly stacked items for sale, cars are parked along clean city streets, and buildings appear to be in good condition. Real or fake? I wish it was true, but I think that it is fake.
Yes.
What do you think? Have you saw Javier's videos?
I've not, but so how is he uploading them to the past?
I have no idea. Javier, if you're listening, how are you uploading those to the past?
And also, have you found any evidence to say what happened to humanity?
Javier, have you found any evidence?
This is 6 years later, man. Come on, you have to tell us
I am
something.
translating.
Thank you.
Javier, have you found any? No, I did watch a couple of them that some of my Facebook friends had shared, and it is fascinating just to watch. And on one, he goes to the beach. There is a lot of footprints on the beach, so somebody had been there. And there's even a ship in the ocean. So who's selling that ship? But he has done a good job on making the videos. And some people are actually falling for this. They actually believe because they're asking questions like, can you find out what happened? And, and he's even come up with a story that he just woke up in a hospital and everybody was gone.
Yeah.
So, but, it is incredible because first, video editing is a lot easier now than it was 10 years ago.
Sure.
All right,
Photoshop.
video editing on your phone is a lot easier now than it was 5 years ago. But with that being said, it's still really hard to crop people and take people out of those videos, even on a computer or phone. But hats off to Javier. He has come up with a good story to make his TikTok stand out.
How do you spell his name?
Havier. Why?
Well, I plan to look him up this later.
So it's just Javier.
Would you like me to
Time
look him up
traveler
right-
Javier.
Would you like me to look him up right now?
No.
Okay.
No. We're going to move on. I think it
Moving
might have
on.
been you or somebody. It was either last week. It might have been Pretty Boy, or it could have been during the Roundtable show. I think it was last week, though. Somebody mentioned black helicopters.
Okay.
Do you know what black helicopters are?
Aesthetically pleasing to the eyes.
Okay. Besides that, what do you know?
They usually appear when we call Ingersoll Lockwood.
Well, you are correct. The black helicopter is a symbol of an alleged conspiracy military takeover of the United States and the American militia movement, and has also been associated with UFOs, especially in the UK, Men in Black, and similar conspiracies. Stories of black helicopters first appeared in the 1970s and were linked to reports of cattle mutilation. It is possible that the idea originated from Hal Lindsey's book, The Late Great Planet Earth, published in 1970, and popular among conspiracy theorists.
Did you wait in line to get that book
No, I have not read that book.
when you were 21 years old?
I was not even born in 1970.
21 years old.
Lindsay said that the locust-like creatures referenced in the book of Revelation in the New Testament were actually helicopters, which John had never seen and thus did not know what to call them or how to describe them.
So these helicopters have been around for thousands of years.
Well, according to Hal Lindsey's book. So,
I see. So the helicopters are mutilating cattle?
yes. Well, or they were linked to cattle mutilations.
And people are flying them, or the helicopters themselves are an extraterrestrial species?
I don't think it's a maximum overdrive situation. I think people are flying.
How great would it be, though, if it was a maximum overdrive situation?
That would be kind of cool.
Terrifying.
No, man, that would be cool.
I mean, I work on the low.
The only thing that would be terrifying, and one thing about that movie, not switching, getting off topic, the pop machine incident.
Yeah.
That freaked me out when I was a little kid.
That's pretty wild.
Especially when he hit the guy in the balls and he
Yeah.
goes down and hits him in the head and kills him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's
snap.
double whammy.
Big time double whammy.
Well, see, the thing that it's terrifying for me is I work on the loading dock at the cookie factory, so like, I'm doomed.
No, you're not.
Sure.
All you do is push boxes.
Yeah, but there's forklifts and like pallet jacks.
Yeah, but
and,
you know as good as I do, and don't
Trucks.
sit there and act like your forklift license has not been revoked because it was 3 months ago.
I know, but it will also. But I'm allowed to work the mechanical, or not the mechanical, but the powered pallet jacks, and like I don't want to get run over.
All you have to do is push a button, it goes up and down. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, but it also rolls backwards and forwards.
Well, don't put your big feet under it, and you shouldn't have any problems.
What about the forklifts that are still on the floor? I got to run from them. I can't run.
Well, if you played your cards right and not tried to have forklift races, you would still have your license.
Well, then that would be even worse.
Anyway, this story goes on to say that media attention to black helicopters increased in February 1995 when first-term Republican Northern Idaho Representative Helen Chenloth sounds good to me, charged that the armed federal agents were landing black helicopters on Idaho ranchers' property to enforce the Endangered Species Act. She said, "I've never seen them," and she said this in a New York Times interview, "but enough people in my district have become convinced that I can't just ignore it. We do have some proof." Believers in the UFO conspiracies often claim that unblacked helicopters are seen in the vicinity of UFO sightings. This is supported by being that the helicopters belong to an alleged secret government department who cover up evidence of alien visits and UFOs to the general public. Now, the following organizations, government agencies, state, local, and federal, are known to operate black helicopters. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They operate a dozen or so black and gold helicopters. Let's see here. What else? There was some more.
I'd say probably the FBI.
Let's see. They're also used by the U.S. forces, the U.S. Army. They were used by Air America, which was a former dummy corporation that the CIA covertly operated on behalf of the corporation to cover private commercial ventures and conducted tests. They've also done that. And they're also used by state, local, and federal governments and immigration and customs services.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Police Department, I know, has black helicopters.
Yes, they do.
But it seems like the FBI would have black helicopters as well. But you also have to look, the black SUVs and the black cars. Those are all
Government tinted windows.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be a special agency when the helicopters, but it's more likely that that's just going with their scheme. It's black,
right,
blacked out.
Right.
That's them.
Some bullet points on this that I found interesting is that it first appeared in the 1970s, which you pointed out, and was linked to cattle mutilations.
Right.
And if you go back, I watched the first season of Skinwalker Ranch, and there were some helicopters buzzing around there. I can't remember what color they were, but I think they may have been black. Media attention increased in 1995. Believers of UFO conspiracies believe that these show up when UFOs are seen or spotted. So, the men in black are flying in black helicopters. They belong to a secret government agency that covers up UFOs and alien visits to Earth. I think that could be very possible.
Like I said, I really do. I do believe that, yes. But going back to most government agencies are using black vehicles,
yes,
of some sort. So yes, I do believe that those are black helicopters, or the government.
Now, again, a fact: the federal, state, and local governments do in fact use unmarked helicopters for various missions. We've said on the show several times before that the best way to keep a secret is to be a part of the secret or hide in plain sight. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little tidbit on black helicopters.
Definitely.
If you saw a black helicopter, please contact us and let us know. It seems that they do arise when UFOs or something of that type has been reported.
Well, that's very good.
Moving on. John Lennon. You know who he was?
I do.
What was your favorite John Lennon song?
Oh, don't put me on the spot.
Imagine.
That was yours.
Yes, it was.
I like Yellow Submarine. It's the only one I know of.
He was in the Beatles then, man. That wasn't a solo song.
Oh, I don't know.
Have you ever heard the song Imagine? Mm-mm. Are you serious?
I don't know, probably, maybe.
That is like one of the best songs ever.
I mean, I may have heard it.
Okay.
I can't. I was never a Beatles fan.
Well, I'm not a Beatles fan either, but I do like.
Apparently, you're like in love with John Lennon.
No. John Lennon's murder.
Did you wait in line for hours whenever he was in concert?
Dude.
When you were 23 years old?
I was I guess my
Do you hate me?
no, not at all, not at all. I can't remember what I was going to say. John Lennon's murder in 1980 attracted a lot of attention and has a lot of crazy conspiracy theories behind the actual reason for his death.
It was a sad day for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I was like 6 years old.
You were not 6. You were like 6 plus 30.
I was 6 years
You were
old.
36.
Most believe his assassination was a political one. John Lennon had been known for his political views. In his own words, he claimed he was not political, but his record Give Peace a Chance was widely recognized as an anti-war anthem and has been said to have linked radical leftist politics. Considering the Beatles star Lennon's huge influence, it is claimed by many that he was put to death by the U.S. intelligence agency to halt his leftist ideas and activism. What do you think about that so far? No idea? Since the intelligence agency has been accused of conducting various such activities, the real shocker to this story comes when one of the most popular conspiracy theories claims that it was actually Stephen King who pulled the trigger.
Why?
Stephen King, a popular horror novelist, is said to have killed John Lennon while Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan facilitated the entire affair. The most blatant accusation comes from a man called Steve Lightfoot from California,
I've
who
heard of that.
has...
I've heard of that name.
Have you heard of Steve Lightfoot?
Yeah. I don't know where I've heard that name, but I have heard that name.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Gordon Lightfoot?
Maybe it's Gordon Lightfoot.
Okay.
Wasn't he like deep throat or something like that?
I don't know if he did give you a deep throat.
No, that's
but-
not where we're going with that.
Oh.
Wasn't he like the
Yeah,
secret government?
Yeah, he was in that, and then he was also, I think, like a news commentator as well. So,
okay.
But this guy, I don't think's no relation to him.
So Jimmy Lightfoot. Gotcha.
What? Jimmy Lightfoot, Steve Lightfoot,
That's what you said, right?
Gordon. You're thinking about Gordon
Terry?
Lightfoot. Yeah, that's it.
Roger Lightfoot. Gotcha.
But Stephen Lightfoot from California has pretty much dedicated a lot of time to trying to figure this out. Lightfoot seems very much into this theory since a lot of people know him as the man with a van full of white stickers and articles posted to its windows and the allegations that Stephen King killed John Lennon in huge letters. And the crazy man also has a website about the truth of Lennon's murder. According to him, there is ample evidence in the back issues of Time, Newsweek, U.S. News, and World Report in the form of government codes, along with the killer's true identity. And all of this was printed before, during, and after December 8th, 1980, the night that John Lennon was murdered. Stephen Lightfoot goes on to claim that Mark David Chapman was a hired actor. He was hired to stand in for Stephen King and to take the blame. According to the police and media reports, David Chapman took the autograph of John Lennon a few hours before he was murdered by him, and a photograph is proof that shows John Lennon signing his record while David Chapman was standing next to him. According to Steve Lightfoot, it's actually Stephen King in the photograph. And I have saw photographs of David Chapman, Mark David Chapman, and Stephen King, and they do look similar. But there's no mistaking. I mean, this guy,
Right.
Stephen Lightfoot, is out there. Let's see. This article goes on to say that it's actually Stephen King in the photograph. It's quite hard to miss him. The similarities between the faces of David Chapman and Stephen King. King allegedly shot John Lennon 4 times in the back before fleeing the scene, while David Chapman waited for the police to arrive as he was reading a copy of Catcher in the Rye. So it's possible, or is it possible, that it was actually Stephen King who killed John Lennon, or was the similarity between them just a mere coincidence?
What is the motive, though? Why would Stephen King?
He says that there is, and you can go to his website, LennonMurderTruth.com. LennonMurderTruth.com. And he has a lot of stuff on there about, he has old articles of the Times, Newsweek, and U.S. News and Weekly World News, and he has stuff circled as codes. But I mean, you can take a news article. I could take this paper I'm reading from, and I could circle whatever I wanted and say that this says that.
Exactly.
But anyway, You can check out more at LennonMurderTruth.com. And Stephen Lightfoot says, let me get this next page here. He says the story about Mark Chapman is a cover-up. Bold print government codes that includes the killer's face and true identity, the killer's alleged name, and letter to the editor printed before the murder, and Richard Nixon's book, The Real War, in the back issues of Time, Newsweek, U.S. News, and World Report magazines printed before, during, and after the night of December 8, 1980, prove that Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan arranged for the author, Stephen King, and he was barely known at that time, to assassinate John Lennon. He also says that King's writings draw dramatically from the crime and that he taunts us all the time in interviews and comments and only makes reference to this in his stories that he writes about, and that this conspiracy is the story of a lifetime. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's to me, it's a
Yes.
very far-fetched theory.
Very, very far-fetched.
But it would be interesting if it were true. I just don't understand why Stephen King would do that, or what the motive behind that is.
Well, the government paid him.
The government has plenty of assets. Why does it have to be Stephen King? Why could it have just been a no-name?
I don't know. Lightfoot also claims that King has not exactly denied killing Lennon by using wordplay. Again, this is where Lightfoot says there's codes. He points out several letters by him. That's all right. So Stephen King has supposedly written Lightfoot letters over the years and mailed them to him. And I've read some of these, and they do say some pretty incriminating stuff. But who's to say this is not some Tom, Dick, and Harry that saw this jackass riding around in this white van?
Exactly.
And it's like, hey, I'm going to have a little fun with this guy. That's my thoughts on it.
I wouldn't put it past people because, I mean,
No.
we've done stuff like that before.
No, we've not. Shh. But Lightfoot points out several letters by him that have a taste of threat and acceptance in them. But considering how bizarre his accusations are, is it really possible that the most famous novelist whose book adaptations are now popular in movies or TV series was really behind the death of a pop star? My verdict is no. It is BS.
Very much so.
So I do not believe that conspiracy theory and shot that down.
However, stranger things have been proven.
Well, yes,
So,
they have. But, I mean,
like
come
the
on,
fact
man.
that people think that oysters taste good.
Who said that? Nobody said that on the show.
People like that. That's a thing.
Oh, so you think Lightfoot likes oysters?
That's not what I said at all. You were putting words in my mouth. I said stranger things have been proven true. People like oysters,
Okay.
as an example.
Okay. So
I'm going to put that on the oyster. Like the Stephen King, that's on the oyster level.
you need to try to look up a Stephen Lightfoot and see if we could call him and get his.
Stand by.
He's in California, Steve Lightfoot, California. Cronkite has his phone and he's attempting to look up Steve Lightfoot.
Actually, I was looking for a phone number to call earlier, and I come across Janet Airlines. Do you know what that is?
What is Janet Airlines?
The airline that takes people from Las Vegas McCarran Airport to Area 51 every day.
Oh, okay. Yes. I actually did know that, but I forgot the name of it.
There is no phone number for them, shockingly.
Well, I wonder why. Steve Lightfoot.
Steve?
I guess from California, maybe Berkeley, California. Do you think that we'll find a Steve Lightfoot?
I don't know. Maybe we should.
So and right now in California, it's 9:04 a.m. on a Sunday Easter morning.
That is early enough. Let's see here. I have white pages. Let's see what this looks like.
Good place to start.
Steve Light.
Lightfoot. In case you didn't know how to spell it.
Do you know what city he's in?
Try Berkeley.
And you know how old he would be?
No, I have no clue. He would be probably in his 50s, 60s.
Is Santa Rosa close to Berkeley?
Sure.
Well, no, there's like a lot of people here.
Oh, named Steve Lightfoot?
San Diego. Yeah, oh yeah. Stephen K. Lightfoot.
No, this is just Steve Lightfoot.
Mark Hanna. What?
Mark, what? How did you get to that?
I don't know. Stand by. All right, so we've got a Stephen K. Lightfoot from Vista, California, in the ages of 70. Stephen A. Lightfoot, South San Francisco, 70s.
I think those guys are too old.
Stephen R. Lightfoot is in the 60s, or in his 60s, San Diego.
That's probably him right there.
Right, let's call him. Phone number, please.
We're going to attempt to call Steve Lightfoot to see if this is the one that claims that John Lennon was shot by Stephen King.
Where's the show phone?
Why?
I'm going to call him from that number. I don't want him to call me back.
Why? Oh, you can, and Cronkite does have a new iPhone.
Yeah.
You can actually block that. There you go. There you go, my friend. Where is the show phone? But Cronkite recently got a iPhone and an iWatch, or whatever you call the Apple Watch.
Here we go.
Is it on? Okay. Again, we're trying to call Steve Lightfoot. What are you laughing about?
Some random person in California is going to get a phone call from us.
Oh, see, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning there.
He'll probably yell at us.
If they do yell at us, just hit that end button. I don't think they're going to answer.
Well, there's a second number here.
For the same one in the 60s?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that's him then. Okay, Cronkite is now going to try a second number for Steve Lightfoot. And we're going to see if we can get, if this is the correct one, see if we can get him on the phone.
What should I say?
We'll just roll with it, man. Again, we're trying to contact Steve Lightfoot, who claims that Stephen King killed John Lennon. Hello, Mr. Lightfoot.
Thank you for calling. Leave your message. I will get back with you as soon as possible.
That guy didn't really sound like a crazy guy.
He didn't. So
We probably found the wrong one, but we tried. So
We did.
We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in just a moment.
But before we go, if you want to call, text, leave a voicemail for the show. If you are, in fact, Stephen Lightfoot and want to get back...
Steve Lightfoot.
Steve Lightfoot. You want to get back with us and you're in California. Or if you think that John Lennon was killed by Stephen King, or if you're Stephen King and want to just come clean, please call, text, leave a voicemail, 606-373-3396. Email, goose@heretochewbubblegum.com, cronkite@heretochewbubblegum.com, Ned or Elliot at heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com. Attention, Ned or Elliot in the subject line.
Sounds good. We'll be right back in just a moment. Hey, everyone. This is Goose from Here to Chew Bubblegum. I want to tell you about my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com. T-Shirt Joe is your go-to guy for all your custom work. Also, you can check out their website and find artist originals, college shirts, comics, famous folk, fetish, military, movie shirts, occupations, podcast and website shirts, plus he has face masks and many other items over at FastCustomShirts.com. While there at their website, you can sign up for their newsletter. Or you can give Joe a call at area code 361-814-9212. That's 361-814-9212 to contact my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com.
Are you a horror movie fan? Yeah, I dig horror movies. Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to? Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy. Then you need to tune into Deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make Deadpit.com your #1 horror station destination.
And welcome back here to Chew Bubblegum. I
Welcome
am
back.
Cronkite. That man sitting across from me,
I'm
as
Goose.
always, is Goose. Goose, do you want to hear some stuff about some stuff?
Yes, I do. And I hope you're talking about Elon Musk.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Elon Musk, but we're also going to talk about what's the one of the wildest things I've ever heard in my life. But
Okay.
it's kind of interesting. The simulation theory. Have you ever heard of that?
I have never heard of that.
So essentially, what people believe is, or what the theory states, is that it's the ultimate conspiracy theory, that we live in a Matrix-style simulation.
Okay.
All right. Now, in a podcast with Joe Rogan, SpaceX chief Elon Musk said, if you assume any rate of improvement at all, games will eventually be indistinguishable from reality, before concluding that it's most likely we're in a simulation. Elon Musk says we're most likely in a simulation. So the article that I come across is confirmed! ! We live in a simulation. We must never doubt Elon Musk again, ever.
Well, we have talked about Elon on the show before, and oh my gosh, Papa's phone is ringing in the bunker.
Oh boy.
We're just going to totally ignore that.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, Papa gets mad if you answer his phone.
Okay.
So
You just want to keep going, or
yeah, we're just going to keep going.
do you want to stop and wait till it's stop?
No, we're just going to keep going,
Okay.
and because we don't want to interrupt our flow.
All right.
And I was going to say, we've talked about Elon Musk on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
I do put a lot of faith in what he says. This one, I'm not so sure.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one who has said that.
Okay.
And myself, it's very skeptical, but, would we even know if we were living in a simulation?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's one of those things that you can't even really wrap your head around. So the question is, are we living in a computer simulation? What is reality? Simulation theory tackles some heavy questions. And so this basically goes into the top 15 reasons that people think that we're living in a simulation.
Okay.
The number one reason is the Mandela effect.
Okay.
So some people claim to remember TV coverage of Nelson Mandela's death in the 1980s, even though he actually died in 2013. The Mandela effect is therefore supposedly proof that whoever is in charge of our simulation is changing the past, or alternately, this is evidence of the parallel universes, and some individuals have crossed from one universe in which Mandela died in the 80s into ours where he lived to be age 95.
Now, I'm open to the theory that the Mandela effect is to do with parallel universes. I am open to that.
I think it's more likely that there are parallel universes than there are if we're living in a simulation.
Simulation, yeah,
Yes. But I have heard several, YouTube videos talk about the simulation theory that could be the parallel universes. Simulation is the parallel universes. I don't know. I'll just read this stuff. I'll let
Okay.
you make your decision.
Okay.
Missing aliens is number 2.
Okay.
We've spent billions sending probes through outer space and should probably have found evidence of extraterrestrials by now, right?
Right.
Well, not really. Aliens would likely be far more technologically advanced than we are. So the fact that we haven't located them suggests that they live in a simulation they figured out how to escape from. Or maybe the computer we're in only has enough RAM to simulate one planet civilization at a time.
Okay, man, I don't buy that.
So we got a bum deal when we bought the computer, I guess. 'Cause
Yeah.
Now we've got the Nokia of the brand, I guess.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Number 3 is electrons that can't make up their minds.
Okay.
Okay. In physics, famous double slit experiment, electrons are fired at a photosensitive screen through slits in a copper plate, usually producing an interference pattern that indicates wave-like behavior. But when the same experiment is conducted under observation, electrons behave like particles, not waves, and there's no interference pattern. Some have taken this to mean that our simulation is conserving its resources and rendering certain things only when it knows we're looking at them. So if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
Yes, it does.
Are you sure?
I'm about 99.999% sure.
Well, I mean,
It makes a sound when you're there and you hear it. So if I'm not there and I don't hear it, I'm pretty sure it's going to make the same sound.
but our computer's saving RAM, so it can't, or something like that, conserving energy.
Yeah, well, that's...
DNA that contains a computer virus.
Now,
That's number 4.
that could be possible.
So in 2017, a multidisciplinary group of researchers at the University of Washington proved that they could embed malicious computer code into physical strands of DNA. Their aim was to show that computers working in gene sequencing were vulnerable to attack, but they may also have inadvertently revealed that we perceive to be a biological reality was in fact computer code all along.
I don't believe it's computer code. I do think that they can inject stuff in that maybe would
Well, I've always been told.
Hello, I'm Deputy Doofy.
I've always been told that.
Don't bother me when I'm cleaning my room.
I've always been told that the brain is the most complex computer system, neurocomputer system
Known to anybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and we still don't use all of our brain.
right, and, some more than others.
Right. Some less than others.
Sure. So climate change, how convenient, it says.
Nah, climate change is BS.
Our civilization is, just coincidentally, set on the cusp of an environmental chaos, suggesting we could be an ancestor simulation created in hopes that we'd show our creators how to solve an energy crisis. This theory overlaps slightly with the aliens as simulation quitters theory above. If we found an innovative solution to climate crisis, extraterrestrial beings might return to crib the results. That's a stretch.
Yeah, that's...
Video games that look like real life.
Now, those are cool. Those are cool. I have played those. Those are cool.
Elon Musk is a believer in Nick Bostrom's simulation hypothesis, which posits that if humanity can survive long enough to create technology capable of running convincing simulations of reality, it will create many such simulations, and therefore will be lots of simulated realities and only one base reality. So statistically, it's probably more likely we live in a simulation right now. Further proof that we live in the Matrix, according to Musk, is how cool video games are these days. In 2016, he explained 40 years ago we had Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D with millions playing simultaneously. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality. Even if that rate of advancement drops by 1,000 from what it is now, it's a given that we're clearly on a trajectory that we're going to have games that are indistinguishable from reality. It would seem to follow the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. Now, this has has kind of something to do.
Okay.
If you could choose one video game to live in, and you retain all the knowledge that you know right now, but you're going to live in this video game, which one would it be?
Oh, there's 2.
Okay, what?
Microsoft Flight Simulator and
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto.
I was thinking Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption 2 for me. You know, if you can maintain all of your knowledge that you've got now.
Well, Grand Theft Auto then.
Grand Theft Auto would be a good one.
It would.
That would be a good one. I also have you played Red Dead Redemption 2?
I've not.
Okay. Well, that is a good one.
So now that brings up another terrifying thought. What if those people in Grand Theft Auto are in their own simulation and we're just mowing down people with their cars?
Well, but then they come back when you restart well, you don't know if they come back.
Right.
That would be that.
That's depressing. How many people have we killed?
Thousands.
We got quite the body count here,
Yes, yes, we do.
Weird news. Number 7. Some have proposed that the recent unlikelihoods, including Donald Trump's election, Brexit, the 2017 Oscars envelope mix-up, and the year's 25-point Super Bowl comeback could mean we're in a malfunctioning simulation, or whoever is pushing the buttons is screwing with us.
Yeah.
Number 8, quirks with computer code. Seemingly not crazy theoretical physicist James Gates claims that he has identified what appears to be actual computer code embedded in the equations of string theory that describe the fundamental particles of our universe. He says he found error-correcting codes. They're what make web browsers work. So, excuse me, why were they in the equation? I was studying about quarks and electrons in supersymmetry. Number 9, why does our universe have rules in the first place? MIT cosmologist, I almost said cosmetologist.
Cosmetologist?
Does MIT even have a cosmetologist?
No,
Okay.
no, they don't.
MIT cosmologist Max Tegmark says pointed to our universe's strict laws of physics as possible evidence that we live in a video game. If I were a character in a computer game, I would also discover eventually that the rules seem completely rigid and mathematical. In this theory, the speed of light, the fastest rate at which any particle can travel, represents the speed limit for transmitting information within the network of our simulation. Now, this article goes on later on to say that if you were living in a simulation, that there would have to be a constant artifact, and that artifact in our simulation is the speed of light. Nothing can go faster, and it's
Okay.
constant.
Yeah, I don't buy all this.
Number 10, it's not actually possible to prove we're not living in a simulation. So you can not buy it if you don't want to.
No,
you can't
no,
prove it.
but my common sense thinks that we're not.
It may be easier to prove that we're living in a simulation to prove that we're not. Nuclear physicist, I'm not even trying that name, believes that cosmic rays, the most energetic particles known to man, would appear as pixel-like chunks if we were within a simulation, and unending beams if we're in base reality. Meanwhile, New York University philosopher David Chalmers doubts it's possible to prove that we don't live in the Matrix. You're not going to get proof that we're not in a simulation, he says.
I think these people, too, believe the Earth is flat.
Probably. The Goldilocks zone, number 11. Earth exists within the astrobiologists call a Goldilocks zone, close enough to the star that greenhouse gases can trap heat to create liquid water, but far enough away that the planet doesn't become Venusian hothouse. That we live in such an orbital sweet spot is circumstantial evidence for simulation. If our sim designers wanted us to succeed, it makes sense that they'd place us in such a cushy environment.
But, you've got a lot of people that's not in a cushy environment. You've got a lot of bad things that happen to children, to elderly people. You could be driving down the road and hit by somebody that's under the influence.
I think they're speaking just as like a perfect area for life to
Okay.
flourish, I
Okay.
guess.
Gotcha. Didn't mean to bring you down there.
No. What we as people do with that is what we do. There are terrible people all over the world. Do you hear me going whenever I talk?
No, I do not.
It's stressful in my ear.
I do not hear you doing that.
You didn't hear me at all? Okay.
No.
Number 12, it makes more sense than ghosts.
No, it does not.
Paranormal events are not hauntings or alien encounters, but glitches in the simulation. This theory is the one most explored on Reddit forums, like Are We Living in a Simulation? And Are A Glitch in the Matrix, where users explore big ideas and philosophy funneled into details of the odd or the occult. A storefront exists in a town one day, then doesn't. Explanations include a slip between parallel timelines or a pop-up. A car passenger sees the word render in the sky as if entering a new part of the video game. Elevators are a frequent setting for glitch stories. The jump between floors seems to encourage a slip within dimensions. Now, I want to know the people who are actually looking out the car window and seeing the word render.
I don't know. You can always call into the show, 606-373-3396.
Number 13. There's only two more after
Okay.
this. Number 13. We already know what the bricks of our matrix are.
What are they?
According to the simulation believers, we may have already found the pixel-sized building block of the universe. The Planck length, the point at which our concepts of gravity and space-time no longer apply. If our world is simulated, the Planck length would be equivalent to 1 bit of information or a pixel. There you go. Number 14. We're already good at making simulations, and we're getting even better. Now, this is assuming that we're the ones that have the simulation.
Right. Yeah,
In 2014, the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysicists connected 8,000 computers to create a 350 million light-year simulation of our universe and digitally aged it over 13 billion years. That the Sims video game franchise has sold over 125 million copies in its first decade shows we're interested in playing with simulations too. If and when a future version of humanity finds themselves with the ability to create more realistic simulations, it wouldn't be a surprise if they opted to use it.
So basically, this person that wrote this and stuff is saying that we're all in Minecraft.
Essentially, yeah. Or The Sims, more specifically.
Well, I hope The Sims, because it's got better graphics than Minecraft.
Yanny versus Laurel is number 15.
Okay.
Remember in 2015 when the world flipped out because we all looked at the same photo and some of us saw a blue dress while others saw a gold dress, or the Yanny Laurel fiasco of 2018? There was also no explosive blue gold white flip-flop debate of 2016. Say what you will about the pitch and volume and color saturation, these controversies made one thing clear. Each of our lives is each of us lives in our own world. No, really. What we perceive as reality is in fact partly a simulation created by our brains, using our past experiences to help process the fragments of data. That's kind of true.
Yeah. Well, and I don't, we do this show to have fun, to entertain people. To me, every day when I wake up, my goal is to be the best person that I can be, to help somebody. Even if it's just to make them smile. If I say something stupid and make them smile, I have felt like I've helped in some way. And for people come on and say this simulations, and I just don't buy that. But I do try really hard every day to be the best person that I can be.
And that's all you can be. That's all you can be.
Because when my time comes and I'm not here, I want to have lived, and I want to have done everything and used everything that God has given me. So
I like the way you said that.
well,
Very
thank
good.
you very much.
Now that article goes on to say, of course, that the simulation would need an artifact, like I spoke with, but an artifact to kind of as a base reality, constantly not changing, and of course that's the speed of light in our reality. Me, I don't buy it.
No, right. I don't either.
But
I bet Stephen Lightfoot believes that.
he possibly could. But now here's the thing, though, that does bring up a good question, though. As we move forward with technology, and our medical technology is getting better and better and better, it's only a matter of time before somebody tries to transfer a human consciousness to a cyber ladder to
If they've not already.
to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Essentially immortality.
Yeah.
So that brings up a good question is, at that point, would we fall into a matrix, or would it be, and furthermore, the second question is, if that were possible tomorrow, would you do it?
Well, you have that one site, and it was, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at it, where William Shatner had uploaded a video of himself to this company. And his family can go on and watch it, and they can ask him questions, and he can respond, through stuff that he'd done on that. And it's, I can't think of the name of it, but we will. I actually had it, to talk about in a future show. When I do that tomorrow, if I could, ask me one more time.
If you could transfer your consciousness, everything that you know and love and see right now in this moment, if you could transfer your consciousness and know that you would still be alive just without your body, would you do it?
Would I be dead right now if I done it?
Your body would be dead, but your consciousness would still be alive.
Well, why couldn't I just wait until I was getting ready to die and then do it?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
What if
yeah,
you were
yeah.
going to die tomorrow?
Yeah.
So you would pick immortality in a cybernetic universe?
Sure. Wouldn't you?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to live forever.
Well, but it really wouldn't be you. It would just be your consciousness.
But what if that is you? What if that's your soul? What if
Well,
your consciousness is your soul?
I would have to think on that a while. The William Shatner, and this was posted on March 22nd, 2021. Storyfile, STORYFILE, Storyfile is an upcoming interactive storytelling app. It announced that the iconic actor, writer, director is joining the company as a brand ambassador. Shatner, who was also marking a big milestone on Monday, is the first person to work with Storyfile. Storyfile is a life to create AI-powered interactive conversational videos that his family and friends can interact with for years to come, beginning in May 2021. So, and that's something that we're going to be talking about later. But if you're interested in that, just Google Storyfile William Shatner story file.
I mean, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Now,
Yeah.
going back to that question though, I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe I would, or at least for a while. Maybe just to kind of see where humanity goes.
Where the world was going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. So what if
I would have to ask some questions to see if I could,
what
you
if
know,
there's-
what I would retain, what I would know before I would do that.
you brought to your point? What if that's already happened? What if the World Wide Web is a bunch of people who have died, their bodies have died,
Mm-hmm.
and they are now a network of people where you can story time, go on and ask them.
Right. Well, I mean, but this is something new that's coming up, you know.
Allegedly.
Well, you know, hey, we've always said that the technology that's released, the government was doing it 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't know. That is a good point. I'd really have to think about it. I don't think that I would want to, but at the same time, if I could live for 500 years,
I would
if my
want to.
consciousness could live for 500 years,
I would want to, because I would want my children to be able, and my grandchildren to be able to, you know, interact, even if it is, you know, and
Right.
and I'm talking about the story file right now.
Right.
I would definitely do that.
Okay.
And possibly you know, what you're talking about, I would do that too. I would have to ask some questions,
Yeah, it's
you know.
oh man, now I'm thinking we shouldn't have done this.
Let me. What we're going to do? I'm going to talk about one article. We're going to take a break and do Elliot's articles, and then we're going to come back in segment 3 before we tie things up and talk about the Denver airport.
Definitely.
Let's see. I'm going to talk about real quick, since we're talking about conspiracy theories, and like Elliot said on the show in the past, Nazis are bad. We don't like Nazis.
Absolutely not.
Hitler escaped, and we've talked about this a little bit on the show before, but never with this information.
Okay.
At the end of World War II, it is noticeable that the Allies were never able to prove that Hitler was dead. Some reports also allege that Adolf Hitler escaped capture by the U.S. and its allies with the assistance of extraterrestrials. Indeed, historical records affirm that Hitler was never found by the Allies. His suicide was originally concocted to quell mass concern that such an individual could have escaped to pursue another world war. Indeed, reports suggest that Nazis were preparing for World War III before the dust had hardly settled with their temporary setback of World War II defeat. In 1952, Dwight D. Eisenhower said, "We have been unable to unearth one bit of tangible evidence of Hitler's death." Many people believe that Hitler escaped from Berlin when President Truman asked Joseph Stalin at a conference in 1945 whether Hitler was dead or not. Stalin replied bluntly, "No." Stalin's top army official, whose troops were one of the ones to occupy Berlin, flatly stated that a long, thorough investigation in 1945 found no corpse that could be Hitler's.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Well, now how do they know he committed suicide? Like why was
That
there,
no,
it was
this
just
article,
a story?
This article is saying it's a story that was concocted.
So somebody just made this story up. Like there
Yes,
was
that he committed suicide. And that the body that they said was his and burned, that was all made up, all story.
like a body double, or just made up completely.
It was just made up completely. It was just a random guy with a mustache. They said this is him, and they burned his body
See, now
before anybody could ID it.
So now I've heard that Hitler had several body doubles.
Yes,
So
yes,
that,
he did.
That would make sense.
Now, there's some other stuff here in just a minute that will have you scratching your head. The chief of the U.S. trial counsel at Nuremberg, Thomas J. Dodd, said no one could say Hitler is dead. Major General Floyd Parks, who was commanding the U.S. sector in Berlin, stated for publication that he had been present when the Russians described their entrance into Berlin. He said that he believed Hitler escaped. Eisenhower, in the European invasion and later director of CIA, publicly stated that on October 12, 1945, no human being can conclusively say that Hitler is dead. There is no evidence beyond that of hearsay to support the theory of Hitler's suicide. He also stated on the basis of present evidence that no insurance company in America would pay a claim to Adolf Hitler. An article from November 1949 says the Nazis went underground on May 16, 1943, and details alleged of a meeting with some of Hitler's guys, and they met up to talk about the aftermath of their defeat. They decided to go underground and start planning for World War III. Another article from August 1952 entitled Hitler Did Not Die, subtitled Hitler's Fake Suicide in the Berlin Bunker is Now Exposed as History's Greatest Hoax. A Canadian Broadcasting Corporation claimed a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation program called As It Happens claimed that on September 7th, 1974, at 7:15 p.m., Dr. Ryder Sagyunay, a oral surgeon from the dental facility at the University of California at Los Angeles, said that Hitler had ordered a special plane to leave from Berlin with all of his medical and dental records, especially x-rays.
Oh, wow. So, like, they wouldn't have been able to identify him anyway.
No, because
So
he took all of his medical records with him.
So the whole idea behind that was to discredit anyone who said that they found his body.
Exactly.
So he could have been a body
Exactly.
double. And
Now,
it could have been.
the suicide story, we've always been fed that they had dental records. Mm-hmm. Okay. This doctor stated in 1974 that the dental records used to identify Hitler's body were hand-drawn from memory by a dental assistant.
Do what?
He said that the dental records used to identify Hitler's body were drawn from memory, and memories capitalized by a dental assistant who reportedly disappeared and was never found.
Wait a second. So you're taking the most crucial
Evidence
evidence
and proof
of the most heinous human the world has ever seen
Yes.
or known.
Yes.
At least in modern history. And you're going to leave it to an assistant nonetheless.
assistant.
An assistant nonetheless from memory. From memory, you're going to draw this man's. I'm mad. I am mad.
That, and I had never found that, but then when I found that, I researched that to see if it was true, and the evidence that I've come up with supports that is 100% what happened. The dental assistant hand drew a picture of his teeth from her memory.
That is 100% so
Weak.
concocted and
Yeah.
just so much goop into one story. It's no wonder people say he got away.
Yeah.
They completely overloaded everything with just circumstantial BS, and he fled.
Definitely. Well, this story goes on to claim that the flight captain Peter Baumgard took Adolf Hitler, his wife Eva Braun, as well as a few loyal friends to the airport in Denmark, and then from there they went to Norway. From there they joined a submarine convoy. Okay. Let's see. The German writer, let's see. Okay. The German Navy has played a great role and had a great role to play in the future. The German Navy knows all kinds of hiding spaces for the Navy to take Hitler to should the need arise. This was all pre-planned. Mm-hmm. But, okay, you've got Hitler. His body was burned before anybody could ID it. The body that they said was his, the evidence that you have to say, yeah, this is dental records, was hand-drawn by a dental assistant. Now, how often would a dental assistant really know the outlay of your teeth?
I mean, how could you...
I could see a dentist doing it,
mm-hmm.
but not a dental assistant, especially from memory.
No, not at all. But, here's the thing about this. This is what's so frustrating about our world history is over and over and over, this incident right here
Yes.
replays itself. there is no proof that that body is there. And more recently, in 2011, when Osama bin Laden was taken out,
Right.
there is no body.
Right.
There's no body.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying anything about our great SEAL forces who
Right.
went in there and killed this man. I believe them wholeheartedly. But bring this man to justice in the U.S.
So people can see him.
so people can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, why would he take all of his medical and dental records with him?
Because he plans on disappearing
But
and
yes,
coming back.
Yes, he had plans on disappearing. He has a escape plan. Now, we've talked before about the technology that the Nazis had and the submarine. Okay, they were, like it was. I think maybe 8 months after there was a submarine that was captured. There was a couple of submarines that was captured, and those Nazis surrendered. Okay. Did you know that till this day, all Nazi submarines was not accounted for?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of assumed
According to this article, there's around 50 that are still missing and never been found. 50 submarines.
but not presumed destroyed.
No. They are missing. There is no evidence that there's evidence that the submarines existed, that they went on, that they were built, that they had missions, but they were never been located. 50 of them's missing. Now, their smallest submarine could hold around 20 people, 20 to 30, around 20 people comfortably. That's their small one.
Yeah.
And they had, the Nazi Navy had one of the biggest submarines at that time that was undetectable, and it could hold like 30 plus people.
Right. Now,
But you've got 50 that are missing, that have never been accounted for.
that is pretty wild. I mean, they would be next to useless now. in
Yes,
today's
yes, they
times,
would.
But that is interesting. So they were obviously planning to do something else. But I've heard that Hitler and a few, and I've heard this submarine. I've heard that they made it on submarine and went to Argentina.
Okay.
I have heard that
Now,
story before.
If Hitler did escape, what happened to him? Theories say that he died in 1984 in Brazil or in Argentina at the age of 94.
I was going to say, I do remember him being. I do remember someone saying that he died in the 80s, and also that makes it. There is a town in Argentina. I can't remember the name of the town that still speaks German. Right now,
Yeah, till this day. Why do you think they do that for?
because it's a German town.
There you go.
It's a
There you go.
100% a German town.
I mean,
But Argentina has the most
From-
lax extradition laws.
from what I have read and researched, I think it's very possible that he escaped. And we've said that before on the show. Now I'm more than ever thinking that he escaped.
Absolutely. And you think about the genius that. Again, this sounds like we're praising them, but we're
Nazis
not.
are bad.
Nazis are
bad.
terrible. But the genius that came out of that area, space travel came out of that area.
Yes.
Jet engines came out of the area. Missiles, ICBMs, things like that. Weapons of war, true, but they got us 2 planets. The genius level of that, you don't just put a bullet through your brain.
Right.
You know what I mean? There
Well,
is always there's smoke and there's always another plan.
I have always thought that he was too arrogant of a guy
To kill himself.
to kill himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he was full of himself.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
he also surrounded himself with geniuses.
Yes,
And
he did.
The idea, if they were planning to do something else, they knew in the last year that they were done.
Yeah.
They were defeated.
Yes, and they were talking about World War III.
Yeah, so
You know.
they knew that. They probably started hiding these submarines. They definitely were working on a plan to get Hitler out of there. And how convenient, him and his wife killed themselves and we burned their bodies before you could see them.
Yeah.
But he's dead.
We're
just letting you know.
And there's they don't know where those bodies are at.
Nah, this
You
story.
know? So
This story makes me mad.
we're going to step out for Elliot's articles this week. He's going to be talking about Kentucky native and psychic Edgar Casey.
Elliot.
And when we come back, Cronkite will be talking about the Denver airport, and we may even try to call the Denver airport.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to reach out to them and see what we can see.
That sounds good to me.
Researching the inner workings of the net to bring you stories of the strange and unusual. It's Elliot's Articles on Here to Chew Bubblegum. Take it away, Elliot.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Elliot with Elliot's Articles on the Here to Chew Bubblegum podcast. Now, this week we're doing something a little different. I have with me two guests. I call them my family because, well, that's who they are. They're my family. But we're going to call them the Spooky family. Is that right? I think it's spooky. Is spooky the correct spooky it, guys?
I think that's
Spooky. That was, I think I scared them too much there. But no, anyway, today I have with me to my right I have Gertie. Now I'm Elliot, she's Gertie, but we're not brother and sister. We're actually husband and wife. Say hi, Gertie.
hello.
Okay. And then to my left, I have my brother-in-law, who we are going to call the Legal Beagle.
Yes,
That
that is actually my legal name.
I thought so. That's a very interesting name. Now, we're going to talk about a couple subjects. I think we're actually going to do a two-parter. And so we're going to do this week and then we'll do next week. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is a good old Kentucky boy, and that is Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce. Can you tell me anything about Edgar Cayce, Miss Gertie? Okay, so Gertie says no. Gertie does not want to talk about Edgar Cayce. So let me tell everyone a little bit about Edgar Cayce, and then we'll get back to some. We'll get to talking about him a little bit. Edgar Cayce was an American clairvoyant who claimed uniquely to channel his own higher self. Now, this is from a Wikipedia article. I like to be upfront with where I get my sources at, but I don't remember him ever claiming to channel his own higher self. Most of the time, whenever you did a reading with Cayce, he said he would channel something that said, "We now control this body," or "We now have the body."
We can now see the body.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't think it was his higher self. I think it was more along the lines of one of those Space Brothers type thing, if that makes sense. Casey's channeling sessions happened in a trance state that he would induce with help from his friend Al Lane or his wife until later in life, when he became accustomed enough to do so on his own. Now, Al Lane, you can tell us a little bit about Al, Gertie. Well, what's so special about Al Lane?
He was a physician.
He was a physician, which makes some of the things Cayce talked about a little dubious. You know, like if you've got that knowledge there. But let's say it's not. Let's say it's not dubious. Let's say it's on the level. Edgar Cayce is one of the neatest things to talk about. During these sessions, Cayce would answer questions on subjects as varied as healing, reincarnation, dreams, the afterlife, past life, nutrition, Atlantis, and future events. When I go to a sleeping prophet, as he was later known, I want to ask about two things, guys. Nutrition and Atlantis.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, those hand in hand. As a devout Christian and Sunday school teacher, his channeling claims were a source of trouble for him because channeling was typically criticized by practitioners of his faith as being demonic. Cayce, in contrast, believed that it was his subconscious mind exploring the dream realm where he believed minds were timelessly connected. Cayce founded a nonprofit organization, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, to store and facilitate the study of the channelings, as well as run a hospital. A biographer later gave him the nickname the Sleeping Prophet. Now, as I said before, Cayce was he's a very interesting person. I think he made upwards of 14,306 prophecies or channeled readings. Is that correct?
I believe so. I know one thing about him was that he never accepted any type of money or
Yeah,
any type of payment. Really,
I think he accepted it if it was offered, but he didn't require it. Does that make sense?
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, like I think there was a quote that said, "If the information was divinely given, then no payment should be taken. But if the information was just a matter of him pulling it from his subconscious, then it didn't deserve a payment to begin with." So yeah, I think he was. I don't think he ever like charged anybody. Like,
Didn't set out to.
yeah, he didn't set out to make.
yeah, he
money.
wasn't making money.
Right. And I think that lends a good bit of credibility to what he did. I mean, you know, if you had somebody out here charging for everything that, you know, all their spiritual
torn.
advice, then I can kind of see where.
I'm torn about it.
Yeah, I understand that too. I mean, it could go either way.
I feel like that's the best way to cover it.
Yeah, but
maybe I'm too far in the rabbit hole.
well, the other thing that gets me too. Well, and I understand what you're talking about. The other thing that gets me too is the fact that he said, you know, he was a devout Christian, and he was. He was real torn up about this. He didn't like what was going on. He didn't. He would always say that, you know, I don't know. I just it's a strange dichotomy for him, because here he is. He's given all this information out that he's channeling, but it goes against everything he believes in.
I'm more leaning towards he was incredibly intelligent and a master manipulator.
That's one way to look at it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is one way. One of the things I remember reading a story about him when he was little. They said that he struggled in school, but he slept on a book one night, and
Yeah, I read that too. It said that he was have I think a spelling test the next day,
Mm-hmm.
and he was
Couldn't
able to
spell
get
the word
he couldn't get
cabin.
the words, and his father apparently in an abusive fit
Mm-hmm.
knocked him to the floor, left the room, and then Edgar laid his head down, fell asleep on the book, and a winged woman came to him. It was the first time
yeah.
he met her.
So yeah, there is the angelic presence. You know, he later talked to her out in the woods. I think she had the wings and the, you know, I like to think it's female
Seraphim.
Mothman.
Female Mothman.
my favorite kind of Mothman is a female Mothman.
Yeah, in the woods of
How dare
around
you assume it's
Hopkinsville,
gender.
Kentucky.
So
Interesting enough.
Gertie brings up a really good point here, Beagle, is the fact that, yeah, this happens in Hopkinsville. This is, you know,
And Beverly is where he is from. I think that's
Yep.
just right outside Hopkinsville.
in Christian County. Yeah, this is, the strange thing about this, guys, is Hopkinsville comes up a lot when you talk about weird stuff going on,
Yes.
you know, in Kentucky. I think, what did I say? Casey died in 45? Is that correct?
Yeah, 44, 45,
And
I think.
I think the Kelly Hopkinsville Little Green Men case that now has led into Hellier and led into all the shenanigans with Penny Royal and Somerset. That happened in 55. So what is going on in Hopkinsville, folks?
One thing I was, which this is really a very, this is me reaching at straws, but I heard the story about his, I believe it was his grandfather. He watched him die when he was 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were out apparently tilling the fields, and they were coming back home, and they went by a pond. I believe the horse got spooked by something, apparently by the story. It knocks his grandfather off of the horse, but his foot is stuck.
Ooh.
And it drowned. Like
Oh, it
it
dragged
put him
into
enough
water.
into it that it.
Okay.
So
Thanks, horse, for not moving.
yeah, just get him out.
Yeah.
We're not here to.
We're sorry, Mr. Horse, if you're out there listening. We
Yeah.
apologize. Or any of the horse's
or-
family.
Yeah.
Turn of the century. So.
Yes.
But,
Or 2 centuries ago.
and
Horses didn't have the nautical knowledge that they have now.
yeah. Or Casey, maybe that's where he's first started to think about Atlantis.
Ooh. That makes no sense, but we'll go with it.
But okay, back
Papo drowned in the pond. Atlantis.
Atlantis.
That
If
makes
he
sense
could
to
be
me.
just
Be
one of the
Atlantis.
people. So later on, when I was researching I believe that his grandmother also spoke that his grandfather had abilities
Oh, okay.
similar to him, except
Okay.
that his grandfather could do stuff on a whole different level. I think they said they talked about he could move things with his mind.
Okay, so stuff in
Telekinetic.
his waking life then, as opposed to, yeah.
But
Okay.
here's the thing: if he had similar powers to that, how did this horse take him down?
Well, I mean,
Assassin.
The little green men,
horse assassins.
the Hopkinsville little green men took him down.
Using a horse as an assassin.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. I want that horse got an extra 30 pieces of oats that night.
That's the payment.
That's the payment. So, listen, before we leave, before we wrap this one up this week, we've already talked a lot about Mr. Casey, but Gertie has actually 7 prophecies that have came true. And out of 14,306, I don't know if 7 is, is that,
I mean, this is on EdgarCasey.org as
Okay.
well. A man that died in 44, has his own website.
well, I mean, Goose and Cronkite can tell you about Ingersoll Lockwood all day, and he has his own website, so,
Maybe we need to call Edgar Casey live and see what,
Yo, Edgar.
see if we are connected on the
If he
unconscious
picks
level.
if he picks up the phone and says, "Elliot, leave Ingersoll Lockwood alone," well, okay, I
Never
got you.
again.
It's all Cronkite, by the way. Cronkite and Ned are the two that are leading the Ingersoll Lockwood. Goose and I have nothing to do with that. Nothing at all.
Okay, well, so 7 prophecies that came true.
All right,
Edgar
here we go.
Casey's.
Now, Beagle, I
I'm
want you to
ready.
give your opinion on these, and I'll
ready.
give my opinion on these.
Okay, number 1, the stock market crash of 1929, also known as the Great Depression.
Okay, go ahead.
Him being incredibly intelligent could
Okay.
have possibly seen signs that this was heading that direction.
I agree. And listen, the only way I'm going to give him credit is if he saw the GameStop boom of 2020 and
If that's
21.
in there,
If that's in there,
There
then
will be a time in the new
I will-
age
absolutely,
where a
absolutely.
brick and mortar store will become more.
Grand Theft Auto will lead the way.
He made this prediction in February 1925
Okay,
during a life reading for a 26-year-old physician.
okay.
So,
Yeah, he would do weird, like, if you were sick, he would. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there are records out there where he helped heal people. How, like,
I'm also wondering, like, what was the extent of these, I guess, these injuries that he healed to these people? Like, were they mostly, was it mostly physical or
no, so
some? I
is it
know
like
that
Rasputin with a hemophiliac is what you're trying
Well,
to say?
yeah,
I had read that he had helped some people, I believe, with shell shock, kind of from World
Yeah.
War One.
Okay, well, it's PTSD.
PTSD.
Now. Yeah.
So, I mean, the power of the mind and some suggestion.
You're
that You're
right.
coming to somebody
Who's going to fix your problems?
who's going to fix your
Yeah.
problems.
I've
you know,
traveled
and
all
you-
this way.
I've
or
heard
I've
about
done
this guy.
or, yeah.
You
You're
know,
right.
I have now. Boom.
Magic,
I
yeah.
feel fine.
now,
But now, if I've got a broke leg or I've got some, like, did he reconnect a spine? Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
Like, oh, I walk
you can
again.
walk.
Yeah.
Well, I did read once that there was it was a young girl. I want to think it was a young girl that came to him that was deaf, and he told her to take some kind of clay and to rub it in her
Okay.
ears, and like the parents didn't really believe him, but they were desperate, and she actually got her hearing back. So I mean, again, he's got a doctor right there who would so this is how Casey would do it. I think we didn't really talk about this. He would come in, he would lay on the couch, he would sleep, and then
That meditative state.
yeah, in meditative state, he would give out this information after hearing about the case, and his wife or Al Lane would write down whatever he said.
He would never remember it.
He would never remember it when he woke up, yeah. And they would give that to the patient, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes here.
Client.
Yeah, the client. And then that's what would happen. So, okay, read a couple more, and then we'll get
Okay.
out of here.
Number 2, World War II.
Oh, well, I
actually.
mean, who didn't see World
In
War II coming?
1935, in an amazing display of precognition perception, Edgar Casey warned a 29-year-old freight agent of catastrophic events that were building within the international community. So, this is a quote. It says, as to the affairs of an international nature, these we find are in a condition of great anxiety on the part of many, not only as individuals but as to nations.
Okay, I'll give him
So
that
that's
one.
a bit more pointed.
I'll give him that one. He wins that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, again, who really didn't see it coming? We knew something was going to pop off.
Well, it had already been World War One,
That's
so
true.
he lived through that.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't called World War. You know, like if it was called World War One, he
The
would have been
Great
like, "Well,
War,
there's going to be a
excuse
sequel."
Excuse me. The Great War.
I know, but
it did
you know what
so
I'm saying.
well they made a number 2.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
World War II, The Reckoning.
correct.
electric.
Germany's
Boogaloo.
back. But
2.0 Dream Drop Remix.
Wicka, wicka, wicka.
number 3, pole shift.
Okay, now I have a problem with this one. I agree that there probably has been a pole shift sometime, but not since he was alive. Unless that explains why I can't sleep at night. I mean, did I miss it? Did I miss the pole shift? I don't think we can give him credit for that one. All right, let's do one more. One more. Give us a good
Okay.
one.
Let me zoom down. The life of the SNS.
Yeah, okay. So the SNS
think
were
I'm pronouncing that
they were a group in the Middle East, and he actually predicted the finding and the actuality of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
So no one knew about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the original biblical. You know, there's more books and all that stuff, but he knew about it before it was an international thing. Before anybody knew that it
So they were
had been found.
discovered in 47.
Yeah, and he
which was
died
2
in
years,
45.
Yeah, it was
so.
2 years after his death.
So he predicted this. He told people where it was.
Well,
He
don't,
died, and then 2 years later they find it.
I don't necessarily think he told people where they were. I think he told people that they would
existed.
find it. Yeah.
Oh,
Eventually.
It
okay.
says here
So
that he mentions the SNSs.
Yeah.
Let's see, 171 different times, or in different readings.
Yeah.
So-
Which, and I mean, again, that comes out. You think about it, the Dead Sea Scrolls, so tied to Christianity and religion, and him being a devout
he
Christian.
was so yeah.
Was it just a subconscious longing for proof that
Yeah.
Or
Christianity is real
Yeah,
and Christianity is
some-
true?
some
maybe
were
his
hard,
just
yeah,
incredible
yeah.
IQ with tying Christianity into
And I mean, we are speculating that he had a high
high
IQ.
IQ.
Yeah,
That's me.
And I mean, I think there are people out there who many people think are just simple, regular folk that do have these high IQs.
Well, he may have like maybe a photographic memory.
Yeah,
because it does mention. I think it's a couple of times that I've read that he can remember things basically as they happen, like pages of books and that kind, which is pretty much
I think
didactic memory, I guess. But
that incident we were talking about when he put his head down on the book.
yeah,
When he came back into the room with his father, apparently he could tell his father. Not only could he spell the words, but he could tell his father
the sequence,
page.
yeah.
that the word was on.
Well, that's awesome. Well, listen, guys, this has been our little
First foray.
our little first foray
Experiment.
into Edgar Casey, and we will. I'm sure Goose and Cronkite. I don't know Cronkite. I'm sorry. You know he's in love with a puppet, by the way. Not to throw him
I
under the
don't
bus.
judge.
Cookie Factory.
No, we don't judge. No, weird things happen at the
Did they
cookie
make
factory for
Cookie
Cronkite. But no, Goose and Cronkite will probably go more into this. I know that Cronkite has talked about Edgar Casey, and Goose even mentioned the other day during the round table about how he was very interested. Edgar Casey had said that we would find a lost library of knowledge under the paw of the Sphinx. And, that's a big story, but I'm sure that I don't want to cover that because I'm sure they'll go into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Elliot with Gertie and Legal Beagle, and we are the Spooky Family. And, we are the Spooky Family. Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that part. But, dear listeners, please stay vigilant. Elliot and the Spooky Family out.
Peace.
Goose and Cronkite. Give the guys a break. They're not that bright.
And welcome back here to Chew Bubblegum Nation. Elliot's Articles. What a fantastic article this time, huh?
Very, very.
I'm
fascinating.
Cronkite. That voice that you hear there, as always, Goose,
Thank you. I am Goose.
the man, the myth, the
travel.
legend himself, and he travels. Goose, what do you think about the Denver airport? We talked about it a little bit on WXLR the other day.
I am fascinated with the Denver airport.
Me too. So at the end of this segment, we might reach out, might give them a call, see what we can find out.
Sounds great to me.
All right, so built as a replacement for the Stapleton Airport near Denver in 1995, DIA, that's what I'm going to refer to it as, it's Denver International Airport, has always had its share of nefarious conspiracy theories about it. From the beginning, Coloradans believe have theorized about the airport's secret tunnels, clues to Nazi secret societies, and horrifying harbingers of doom hidden in the public artwork around the Denver hub.
Oh,
In the case of the airport, there have always been quite a few questions about its construction, including why the airport cost so much and took more time to build in the first place instead of the simple, boring answers. Some may find more comfort in indulging in wild theories, which are decidedly more exciting than the other mundane explanations out there. When DIA finally opened its doors on February 28th, 1995, it was more than a year behind schedule and $2 billion, that's B with a B, billion with a B.
now what was DIA again?
Denver International Airport.
Thank you.
DIA.
DIA.
$2 billion over budget. A quarter century later, DIA remains the largest airport in the United States with an area of 53 square miles. It also boasts the longest public use runway in America with a runway 16 right and 34 left, nearly reaching 3 miles long at 16,000 feet.
Now, why would they need an air strip field 3 miles long?
I don't know. I have no idea.
When are they going to be landing there? The space shuttle?
It's hard to say, to be honest with you. So the Denver airport conspiracy theory started when the facility was under construction. It was billions over budget and an entire year behind schedule. Some have become convinced that DIA's delayed 1995 opening was caused by something more nefarious than the usual difficulties facing a large public works project. The unusual artistic choices and a series of tunnels beneath the airport added fuel to the conspiracy theorist fire. From a stone slab bearing the Freemason symbol to runways that look like a swastika, the Denver airport is no shortage of conspiracy theory fodder, they call it.
But you said you looked at an aerial shot of the Denver airport, and it's a far stretch for it to be a swastika.
Yes, you can kind of make it out, but I mean you have to
far stretch.
You have to look for it. You know what I mean? So skeptics insist that the budget was simply miscalculated and an extra space was necessary to accommodate increasing international travel. Again, though, largest airport in the U.S., 20th in travel in the U.S. However, the Denver region is also home to a number of military bases and private aircraft corporations, including the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, Peterson Air Force Base, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin. Some believe the tunnel system beneath DIA leads to underground bunkers for those with clearance to use in case of global catastrophe, perhaps to NORAD itself, which is 100 miles south of the airport. Now, going back to the 16,000-foot runway,
Right.
Lockheed Martin and Boeing, of course, experimental aircraft, that could be an emergency field, of course. That's a very long runway, but
Sure.
as a
Now, what kind of emergency are they going to have that will require that?
I don't know, but I mean, for like an experimental aircraft, I can see that, like a long runway, like a long run out. But for a public airport, no, I don't
I
really
could
see
see
that.
it with an experimental aircraft that they've made or reversed engineered from technology not of this planet.
Well, sure, but if you do that, then why would you do that at a public airfield? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
So the number one conspiracy theory is that it was built by the New World Order. There are many theories about who built the Denver airport. One of the most persistent theories is that the airport was built by the New World Order with ties to Nazism. Again, there's the Nazis. Again, we don't like the Nazis.
No, Nazis are bad.
The theory even goes as far as to say as the airport's runways were built to resemble a swastika from above. However, looking at the photographs from their configuration, the runways don't seem to resemble that shape in particular, unless you're really looking for it. It doesn't help that the airport's dedication marker credits an organization called the New World Airport Commission for building it. I mean, why would you do that? This may seem like a coincidence, but it was discovered that such an organization doesn't actually exist. According to the airport's website itself, people have also noted strange markings on buildings which are believed to be connected with a New World Order as well. In reality, many mysterious building markings are actually references to the Navajo language or periodic table of elements, according to Mental Floss. Still, it seems a little suspicious, right?
Very, very suspicious.
So, going on to...
A lot of controversy there.
Yeah, it's very strange. Have you seen the giant blue horse statue?
Yes, I have.
It's very, very creepy.
Very weird.
Yeah, to have at a public airport, right?
Right.
I mean, we have horses around our town. Mm-hmm. Statue of horses are in Lexington.
Yeah, well, there's actually one in Hyman, Kentucky, too, that is a blue horse statue that is made out of a mailbox.
That's wonderful. That's fascinating.
So,
but I mean, you know what I mean. Like there are statues like this everywhere.
Definitely.
But this one is 32 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it looks like something straight out of a horror movie. It's crazy weird. So the giant blue horse sculpture is a nod to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's the theory. The blue Mustang, also known as Blucifer. Come on, why would you name it that? Is a 32-foot fiberglass sculpture by artist Luis Jimenez, located along Pina Boulevard. It's actually inspired by the sculpture Mestino at the University of Oklahoma, but sinister events surrounding the sculpture have fueled conspiracy theories for years. For one, people point to the statue's glowing red eyes as a nod to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Though the artist once said that the red color was in honor of the wild spirit of American West, sure is a likely story. It doesn't help that Jimenez was actually killed 2 years before the piece was completed when a large piece of the statue fell on him and severed an artery in his leg. I think that's because you named your statue Blucifer.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the one in Hyman, Kentucky.
That's pretty cool. Since then, people have been concocting all sorts of wild theories about the horse's purpose. As mundane as it is, it seems the horse is simply artwork and nothing more. But it does have glowing red eyes, which is very strange.
Blucifer.
The third one is it contains the Illuminati headquarters. Excuse me. In addition to being built by some Nazi New World Order, rumors abound about the many unmarked buildings and underground areas on the airport property. This theory may have stemmed from a time capsule buried on the property which bears symbols from the Freemasons, which are linked to the Illuminati. One of the main reasons why this conspiracy theory has so much staying power is because the airport was much more expensive than previously, it was projected to be. Of course, everybody says that
they hauled in all that dirt and...
Well, and what's strange about it is they, originally projected. So here's where it gets strange. Mm-hmm. So it was, so how was the airport completed? Conspiracy theorists pointed to the Illuminati money, which some believe was used to finish DIA's construction in exchange for the secret society using the property. According to the DIA website, rumors say that the first few buildings on the property were not built properly, but instead of demolishing them, the airport simply buried them and built more buildings on top, giving the Illuminati its own underground layer.
Now, we mentioned this before. If you've got a building that's not that sturdy,
mm-hmm.
and you bury it,
mm-hmm.
why would you build on top of it?
Why not?
Listen,
when I build my house,
uh-huh.
if I screw up a room and paint it the wrong color, I'm just going to bury it and start it over.
Okay. But come on, man. Common sense. If you build on top of that, it's going to collapse.
Exactly.
If it wasn't built right. But I think it was built right.
A commercial structure, yes. And, but even going back to that, why wouldn't you salvage what you could out of it?
Well, yeah, you could. All right, let me ask you, let me point this out. What if you told your insurance company that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We covered this up, but it's okay. We built on top of it.
You buried an entire airport.
Yes.
And built it again.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, that just... That's the most stupidest thing that I've heard besides weather balloons and swamp gas and internet balloons and nuclear balloons.
We put the wrong color paint on the wall, so we buried it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, it's stupid. So the next one is Leo Tanguma's apocalyptic mural.
Old man Tangumas's boy.
Yeah, have you ever seen this mural?
Yes, I have. Not in person. I saw pictures on the internet.
It is creepy.
Freaky.
While conspiracy theorists have suggested that the sword symbolizes the Masonic Shriners International cult logo, Tanguma has firmly denied any such links. He says, "I have children sleeping amid the debris of war, and this warmonger is killing the dove of peace. But the kids are dreaming of something better in the future, and their little dream goes behind the general and continues behind this group of people, and the kids are dreaming that will happen someday." Now, I've seen this piece. There's a rainbow. That's the only thing I can see that maybe would be a dream. But why would you have a warmonger killing a dove of peace in a place that's supposedly the New World Order? But no, it's not the New World Order headquarters. It's just an airport.
Well, don't you always, in your peaceful dreams of slumber, have dreams of a warmonger killing the dove of peace?
I do, but I'm weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Me too. But, I was going to say, if you didn't, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, Tanguma added that his mural represents global catastrophe, bringing the nations of the world together. Conspiracy theorists have seen that as a clear sign that the mural is part of the New World Order agenda, in which elites wage purposeful war and chaos to soft sell a one-world government. I didn't get any of that from that picture. From that picture,
No,
I got what looked like
Nazis.
It looked like a Nazi killing the dove of peace.
Yes. And Nazis are bad, as
Nazis
Elliot
are
said
bad.
on the show before.
I don't understand how he's trying to justify this and keep a straight face, because it's not working. So going on about the artwork, there are a lot of weird pieces of art through DIA's part of the airport's public art collection. Besides the giant blue horse statue and Leo Tanguma's mural, there are others are fixated on the random gargoyle statues.
You okay there?
Excuse me. Gargoyle statues that seem to watch over the airport. While the gargoyles may seem a little suspicious, gargoyles have been used throughout centuries in architecture as a totem to ward off evil spirits and protect the buildings. Many of the gargoyles are placed at a baggage claim to protect travelers' luggage, according to Mental Floss. Why would you have a gargoyle? All right. So anyway, in a modern building, we've got gargoyles.
Yeah.
Okay,
We have a big blue horse called
Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer.
You have an end-of-the-world painting. Mm-hmm. You have markings of Freemason and Illuminati throughout the complex. Okay. You have an entire airport buried underneath.
Right.
Yeah, something sounds weird.
Well, and it, to me, they sound arrogant. They want people to point this stuff out and talk about it.
What was it you said earlier? Hiding in plain sight?
Hiding in plain sight.
Or making a joke of stuff.
Yeah.
Because here's what the airport actually did. One of those gargoyles, they made it talk. So when people came in, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be fun because people think we're being
right.
that there's all kinds of weird stuff going on here. So let's make it sound weirder." So they made the gargoyles speak and say, "Welcome to the New World headquarters." I mean, Denver International Airport.
Yeah.
They're trying to hide in plain sight. Something's up there. 100% something's up there.
Oh, definitely. 100% something's up.
So moving on, its underground tunnels have bunkers. Rumors surrounding the apocalypse are probably some of the biggest conspiracy theories about the airport. Yes, there are underground tunnels in the airport, including a train that runs between concourses and a defunct automated baggage system. But the true nature of the tunnels is believed to be more nefarious. Some have theorized that the tunnels also contain underground bunkers, possibly built by lizard people or aliens, that will serve as a safe place for the world's elite during the apocalypse. According to the DIA website, according to Denver Post, other theories say that the tunnels directly lead to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, which is located only about 100 miles south of the airport in Colorado Springs. However, it seems like an expensive mode of travel, not to mention the new DIA has only been open for about 25 years, and it could possibly take decades to construct a tunnel of that length, according to the Denver Post.
What if they built the tunnel first and then built the airport?
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. I think that they absolutely built the tunnel first, and because you have all of these military and aerospace places there. Of course, you're going to have underground facilities of some sort. So going on, we'll talk about the swastika. For the last 20-some years, conspiracy theorists have pointed out that the Denver airport's runway layout looks a bit like a swastika. However, the resemblance seems to be nothing but a terrible aesthetic accident. The old Stapleton's runway were inefficiently designed. Its parallel runways made landing in bad weather difficult. The new Denver airport alleged swastika shapes runways make the airport more efficient to enable landings in all weather. Now, this, I believe that, because all the runways are kind of pointed north, south, east, west.
Right.
You can land in any direction. So if you've got bad weather coming, wind blowing one way, you can come in another way.
Right.
Furthermore, DIA's runways aren't a precise. I'm having trouble talking now. Precise match to the Nazi symbol, but their sheer similarity is enough to inspire conspiracy theories. We do have some subject matter that we wanted to either just avoid or tread very lightly with, said Heather Kaufman, Director of Arts and Public Events, speaking about the alleged Denver airport swastika. Some things are worth debunking, others aren't. The Freemason-centric time capsule, however, is perhaps more baffling. Set to be open in 2094, the time capsule is covered by the dedication marker and capstone that contains Freemason symbols and mentions the New World Airport Commission. It allegedly holds a credit card, Colorado flag, DIA opening day newspaper, and more artifacts from 1994, the original opening day.
Right.
The strange truth about the matter is that the New World Airport Commission group does not exist, and the name bears a similar resemblance to the New World Order so feared by paranoid onlookers. However, the name inspired by Antonin Dvorak's New World Symphony was chosen by art advocate Charles Ansbacher to commemorate the airport's opening. I don't know, man. I think there's something definitely going on out there.
There's definitely something going on out there.
And if you want to comment on this story, feel free. Reach out to us. You can contact us, leave a voicemail, text, or call 606-373-3396. If you have some information about the Denver airport or you've traveled through the Denver airport, tell us a story. You can also email myself, Cronkite, at heretochewbubblegum.com, or Goose, at heretochewbubblegum.com, or you can just email us randomly at heretochewbubblegum at yahoo.com. Denver Airport in the subject line.
Yes. Why don't you get to the bottom of this?
Let's call
Get your
them.
phone out and just give them a call.
Let's call them.
Let's listen to what their Cronkite is calling the Denver Airport. Let's listen to what their menu says, and then maybe we'll pick one of the options.
Should I block my number?
No, I mean, it's Denver Airport, so it's public.
I'm going to end up on a no-fly list, aren't I?
No, not at all. Again, Cronkite is calling the Denver Airport. We're going to see what their menu selection says, and then possibly maybe...
Welcome and thank you for calling Denver International Airport. All phone calls are monitored for quality of service and security reasons. You may also access information on our website at flydenver.com. Press 1 for airline and flight information. Press 2 for parking. Press 3 for TSA and security screening information. Otherwise, please remain on the line or press 0 to speak with a customer service representative. To repeat this message,
Speak to
press
customer
9.
service representative?
Are you going to speak or am I going to speak?
We'll both do it. I'll let you start out.
Check flydenver.com to see hours of a specific
Again, we're calling the Denver Airport.
Thank you for calling Denver International Airport. This is Fabian. How may I help you?
Yes, sir. Hello. I'm calling about some interesting things that I've read about your airport. My name is Cronkite. I'm here with Goose.
Hello, sir.
We do a podcast, and we're calling about the conspiracy theories surrounding the Denver International Airport.
Okay, because you do a podcast, you would need to speak with our marketing team, our media team, and I can give you an email address to go and send in a list of your questions, and someone from our marketing team will be responding to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, what is that email?
The email is info. Oh, I'm sorry. The email address is media, MEDIA, at flydenver.com.
That is media@flydenver.com.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, sir. Thank you so much.
Happy Easter.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Do you think he was a robot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sounded like one.
So,
yes,
so you do have an email.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to them, and maybe we'll have an update next week.
That sounds good. What kind of questions are you going to ask them?
I'm just going to ask them if they would, maybe I should just ask them if they'd be down for an interview.
There you go.
We'll just discuss everything we've talked about today.
That sounds great to me. Awesome plan.
If they're not down for an interview, then I'll just kind of...
then they're hiding something.
Absolutely. But then I'll just kind of ask them some questions about the stuff we've talked about today.
There you go. Do you want to read some listener text?
Well, I sure do. But first, there's something else I want to address.
Yes, please get it off your chest.
So we had an interesting email this week, you and I.
Yes, we did.
From Terry again.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, my friend, you're going to have to explain it to us, bud, because we have no idea. We're not connecting the dots.
Yeah, and I'm not going to read this last email. There's a particular incident in it that I'm not going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But just, make your email just a little bit more coherent.
Yeah, I mean, you seem like you're talking in a code of some kind.
Yeah.
And we can't really decipher that code, but we would love to talk to you more about what you know, because it seems like you know more than we do, and we would love to know what we're missing. Please let us know.
Definitely. I'll start out with listener text. That one that says listener text is yours. That second page is question of the week. We'll get to that in just a minute. Adam says, other than UFOs and time travel, what other subjects do you like to do research on? Classic old school wrestling.
I'm an aviation buff and a race car fan, so usually my time is spent watching YouTube on air crash investigations, new experimental aircraft, how to buy a cheap airplane, or
how to build a cheap airplane.
How to build a cheap airplane, or to Copart shows, how to rebuild wrecked cars.
Would you really fly on a cheap airplane?
Yes.
Would you fly on one that you built?
No.
Cheaply?
No.
Okay.
I don't trust myself. I'm not a mechanic.
Okay, got you.
But I am looking to buy an airplane.
Got you. Okay.
Because you can buy one for... Actually, I spent more on my vehicle that I drive every day than you can buy an airplane.
And then Cronkite will travel.
Then I'll be a traveler. How do you like that?
I like that.
I'm trying to be like Goose. I'm going to put it in the back window, trying to be like Goose.
There you go.
So, all right, listener text. Dixon09 says, I'd love to hear more, or a little more about Nessie and the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, we'll talk about that on future shows.
Thank
you very much, Dixon09. Beth Ann says, this question is for Goose and Cronkite, but hello to Elliot and Ned. What's your favorite show that you've done so far at Roswell?
The Round Table, without a doubt.
Yeah, the Round Table was awesome.
The Round Table had good flow.
Yeah.
Had good people.
And my second would be the show after the Round Table. It was that just seemed like lightning in a bottle to me. It was,
Do you want to know my least favorite show?
What's that?
The Midweek Moment with the Puppets.
Yeah, but that's not part of this show. I don't know what you're talking about. Puppets? Really? We'll be talking about that on Wednesday, my friend.
Because we're doing the midweek show.
Yeah. We do have some good emails, too, that are coming in and came in, and probably get some more before Wednesday.
Should we stop so you can edit that out?
No, not at all.
That was my least favorite.
Not at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
Casey says, great show. What's your show plans for the summer, Roswell? We were actually just talking about this yesterday.
Yes, we were.
I'll let you kind of take the...
We're going to try to do a lot more YouTube videos.
Okay.
I would like to get a bunch done that we could, not necessarily air at one time, but when it's wintertime and it's cold, throw up something of us out in the warm weather, and so we can think back. And we're definitely going to do Randonautica. We may do some ghost hunting. We're going to do some other stuff.
And, it may just be, we may just hop in a vehicle and drive around, or sit by a fire and talk. You know what I mean? I mean, it may just be
I'd rather drive around
either way.
because I'm afraid that if you were by a fire with marshmallows, you may injure yourself or me or
It's very possible.
whoever.
It's very possible. Very possible. The man says, wait, was it my turn?
Go ahead.
No, it was your turn.
Okay. Corey says, Cronkite, please don't tell the pooping ant story again. LOL.
Why did they put a bad image in your head?
Thank you very much, Corey. And I totally agree with you on that.
No. I'll tell anybody who listens anytime. The man says, I've listened for a few weeks. How do you guys feel about all the subjects you talk about?
How do we feel about all the subjects?
No, I'm sorry. How do you guys find out about all the subjects you talk about?
Internet research,
Google's
TV.
Yeah, and
YouTube, word of mouth.
And a lot of this stuff is stuff that I've picked up over my lifetime.
Yeah, same here.
Researching and doing whatever. I mean, the History Channel used to be a huge.
Oh, I still love to watch the History Channel.
Yeah.
Curse of Oak Island.
And moving on.
Starman94 says, great show last week, guys. The midweek show was hilariously funny, instant hit.
No,
Roswell.
Was not.
We had a lot of people, and we'll be talking about that on Wednesday.
Bad taste. Lori says, and I like this one, Goose, stop picking on Cronkite. Thank you, Lori.
I don't pick on you. I don't
Thank
pick
you,
on
Lori.
you.
Thank you.
Lori, I do not pick on him.
You're exactly right. He does pick on me.
No.
And when the radio isn't on or the midweek moment isn't going, he ties me up in a corner, and I don't like it.
No.
Call someone. I'm very afraid for my life. Call someone.
Question of the week responses from this past week. The question was, if the government admits that extraterrestrial life and UFOs exist, how will that affect or change your day-to-day life? My cousin RJ, he commented on this twice. He was the first one and last one on the post. His first post was, at this point, not much at all. Kind of figured they were out there. Other life was out there all this time anyway.
Joey says, I'll start eyeing people suspiciously and wondering if they look like this. Pick from They Live.
Yeah. That was a good one. Thank you, Joey. William says, I want to beam up with them.
All right. Justin says, I already believe in life on other planets, so they can keep their opinions on that. On the top of actual visitation, however, them admitting it may make me question it. If Project Blue Book and Majestic Files are released with no redaction, that's a big step. I would also be interested in a specific case information pertaining to Roswell, Battle of Los Angeles, and Cape Girardeau. I will always question anything the government freely offers up. It's my inner yin and yang, Mulder-Scully battle. The release of all intelligence on UFOs is set to begin soon, but we will see. Now, we did do something over Battle of Los Angeles, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I vaguely remember that.
You talked about that, and then I think we mentioned it on the radio show as well.
I vaguely remember that. Now, I would like to do a show dedicated to Roswell because there's just so much there.
Yeah.
And this Cape Girardeau.
Girardeau.
I'm going to have to look up.
Yeah, definitely. Me
Is that
too.
Missouri?
I don't think that is in Missouri.
Well, there's a Cape Girardeau in Missouri.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's in Missouri or what.
Really? It looks like that one would be off the coast
You'd
with the
think
Cape.
So. Yeah.
Is it by a lake or river in Missouri?
No, it's by Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Shauna says, I want to go live with them on Uranus.
Well.
I knew you were going to laugh because that had Uranus in it.
Andrew says, not too much at all, really.
James says, it would drive me crazy because I'll have so many questions that I know will go unanswered. I'll be waiting and watching the skies more than I do already. If it takes them this long just to admit that they exist, how much longer would it actually be before they start answering the millions of questions that will inevitably follow?
It's hard to say. RJ says, would probably suck because then they would have to go back and cancel ET because their heads aren't shaped like that. It's declared insensitive. That's probably true.
Have you ever saw the Cartoon Network Adult Swim Robot Chicken with ET?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll have to show you that bit sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, he goes back and it's like they dropped him off on purpose because he was less knowledgeable of the group.
He was the annoying guy on the road trip.
Yes, exactly.
I could see that.
Our new question of the week was created by the one and only Elliot
The man, the myth, the legend.
from Elliot's Articles. The question is, what is another unexplainable, notable thing that has happened to you? What is another unexplainable, noble thing that has happened to you? You can answer the question of the week by call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396 or email myself, Goose, at heretotchewbubblegum.com or Cronkite at heretotchewbubblegum.com.
Exactly.
Were you trying to think of something as I read that?
No, I've got something. It's a ghost story.
Share it with us.
You want me to share it now?
Yeah.
It's kind of long.
Really? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. So in a house that I grew up in, we had, or my mom and dad, not me, I was like 10, they added on to our house, like built an addition. And it consisted of an upstairs that had 4 bedrooms, and a downstairs, which was a 2-car garage, a laundry room, a utility room, and some kind of other room. That section of the house, even from day one, was haunted. And people say that was because it was built on an Indian burial. That part of the house was built on Indian burial ground or whatever. But the downstairs was never was anything happened. But it was just when you went upstairs. Now there were several incidents that happened to myself, my brother, and my sister in that upstairs area. But the most notable thing that scared it was terrifying. And I'm afraid I'm putting this out there and probably going to get visited again. But
well, let's hope not.
All right, let's hope
because
not.
after you finish this, then I'll add something to this.
Okay. So late one night, I was laying in my bed. I was trying to sleep. It was probably, I don't know, I want to say like 2 or 3, something o'clock in the morning. And I remember waking up because I heard a noise outside my bedroom. And I thought, that's probably my brother. Because I was in my teenage years at this time, and so was he.
Right.
I was like, well, he's probably getting home from a late night with one of his friends or whatever. It's probably my brother outside or whatever. And I remember it being very cold. Like you could almost see your breath cold. And the noise that I had heard, have you ever seen those monkeys that have the brass cymbals that go
Yes.
That's similar to the noise that I heard. It was metal clanking together.
Did you have one of those toys?
Did not.
Okay.
No, because they're super creepy. So I was like, well, that's kind of strange. And then out of nowhere, I flipped from my head was on the pillow. I flipped to where my feet were. My head was on where my feet were, and my feet was where my feet were on the pillow, and my head was on my left side, and I was looking out into the room, and I remember things in the room flying around, and like a strobe light, and I could hear like whispering, and it was very creepy and very strange, and I remember trying to yell out and couldn't, trying to scream, and it just kind of kept coming out as like I was paralyzed almost. And then just as quickly as it started, it was over.
Wow.
And I got back to put my head on my pillow, and that was it until a few minutes later, and I heard that noise again. And I felt the bed depressed down like something had got on the bed. And I thought that, oh, it's my dog. It's at the bottom it's in the bed. This must have been like one of those sleep things, like, because you don't think about that. You know, your door is closed. How did your dog get in that's my dog. He just got on the bed. I raised up, and when I raised up, I was face to face with a creature. The only way I can describe this creature is it looked like a gargoyle. It had the very strange, like very angry looking face.
Did it say "Welcome to the Denver International Airport"?
Actually, it did.
Okay.
And then it said, "Just kidding, New World Order." But no, it had this face, and I remember the color very specifically. It was brown, and it had it was almost like fur, like feather furs. But it was just perched on the edge of the bed. And then I was immediately, the relief that I felt was like no other. And I fell back asleep. No problem. The next morning I got up and I was like, man, that's weird. So I just kind of started looking through, you know, mystical creatures on the internet. Keep in mind, this time I had no idea what a gargoyle was. Kind of looking through and whatever. Came across it. I was like, that's it. That's what I saw last night. It was a gargoyle. And gargoyles are there to ward off evil spirits.
You're right. So it was there protecting you.
That gargoyle came into my room somehow and protected me from whatever was happening initially.
That's an awesome story.
Very creepy.
That's an awesome story.
Like the hair on the back of my neck standing up right now.
That's awesome. Now, I guess you're under the impression, by explaining that story to us, that it said, what is an unexplainable, notable thing that has happened to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's not what it said.
Okay, well, I don't care.
I
said it.
What is an unexplainable, noble thing that has happened to you?
Oh.
That was a great story, sir. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Well, now my face is turning blood red because now I feel like I'm an idiot.
No. And, you know, when you were telling that, I said, when you get done, I've got something to add. That's what I was going to add because I could tell when you started that you thought it said notable. Mm-hmm. No, but it's noble.
Well, I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot.
Definitely
Thank you for sharing that story with us. How can listeners contact us to answer the question of the week?
Oh, well, they can always call, text, or leave a voicemail, 606-373-3396. If you leave a voicemail, please keep it clean. We may even play it on the show.
May even play it on a radio show as well.
Absolutely. You can also email myself, Cronkite at HereToChewBubblegum.com. That man sitting across from me, Goose at HereToChewBubblegum.com. The other two gents on our show, Ned or Elliot, in the subject line, HereToChewBubblegum at Yahoo.com.
We're going to wrap it up. Do you have anything to say in closing this week?
Notable, strange things that I've done. I opened a random pickle jar for someone in Denny's once.
That is awesome. You saved the world that day.
Mm-hmm. I certainly did.
You did great things, my friend. I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work and for allowing us to use the music of Flannery.
What's your notable?
CK, what's that?
What's your notable or noble thing?
I changed a flat tire for an old man once.
No, what's your notable?
My notable?
Yeah, I did a story about a ghost. You did something else.
Dude, I really can't think of anything right off the bat.
Ridiculous.
I'm sorry, man. You know, stuff like that don't happen to me.
I feel vulnerable.
I would have to say the stuff that we saw back in January, the UFOs in the sky.
Very strange.
That was, notable, noble things.
Changed a flat tire.
Well, I mean, I've done that. I've done some more stuff too, but I really don't want to talk about them. But I would say changing the flat tire. A few weeks ago at Walmart, there was a lady in the one of the little shopping cart buggies, and she had surgery. She was trying to get water, and I picked the water up off the shelf and gave it to her. And she said, "Thank you."
You're a kind gentleman.
Thank you. That was noble, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never took my jacket off and laid it across the mud hole for somebody to walk across.
No.
I don't think I will do that.
That's stupid.
Yes, it is.
That's stupid.
But, again, I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work and for allowing us to use the music of Flannery. CK Uncle Bill ST3B and the rest of the gang at deadpit.com, and T-Shirt Joe at fastcustomshirts.com. If you need shirts, need them fast, and need custom work, contact T-Shirt Joe at fastcustomshirts.com. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.
We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.